Hi there, I'm Erika Nelson, author and educator, and I wanted to welcome you back to Straight Talk about narcissistic abuse. Today we're going to be talking, we're at the beginning, we're going to be talking about what narcissistic abuse is. First of all, Health is Wealth posted something on Facebook that I have to share with you because I couldn't have written it better myself and so succinctly. Relationship with a narcissist in a nutshell. You will go from being the perfect love of their life to nothing you do is ever good enough. You will give everything and they will take it all and give you less and less in return. You will end up depleted emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and probably financially, and then you'll get blamed for it. So I know that those of you listening that have been through this are going, yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of people think that narcissistic victims are dramatizing and it's not really that bad, and it is that bad, and there's no way you could possibly understand it truly unless you've been through it. So it's my hope with this information it will help victims who have been through it just as validation. Yeah, it's this bad and it's this mind-bending, and also the people that love them to understand really what they've been through. It's really that bad. I want to first talk about a reference point to give you if you've heard of that analogy of the frog in water. So if you put a frog in boiling water in a pot, it's said that they'll jump right out because they know it's dangerous and they know better than to stay there. But if you put a frog into a cool pan of water and then you turn it on and slowly start warming that up, they will stay in there. They won't get out until they're cooked. So this is kind of what narcissistic abuse does to us. It cooks us. We don't realize what's happening. Narcissists are very good at what they do. They're in survival mode, and they need to keep whatever's inside tucked away in there, whatever wounds they've got in there and tucked away. They need to keep it hidden. They need to keep themselves away from it, and they are ruthless in getting those needs met. So narcissistic abuse is so subtle. It starts as this wonderful thing. You think you've found the man of your dreams, like your dream come true, or the woman of your dreams. And, again, talking in the context of an intimate relationship. And as time goes on, they push you to see how far they can push, where your boundaries are, and if you have any. That way they can get more and more narcissistic supply to keep getting their needs met. So it's subtle, and it is just like the frog in the pot of water. A narcissist can be anybody. It can be your parent. It can be your sibling. It can be your boss, your neighbor, your friend. It can be a man, a woman, any culture, any beliefs. It can be anybody. There's a spectrum to narcissistic abuse. So way down at this end, we're all a little bit narcissistic inside. We've all got tendencies where we'll think of ourselves over someone else, or, we might look in the mirror a lot, things like that. And then you look at teenagers, like that's a normal part of personality development, is when they're narcissistic and they're just finding their place in the world and everything's about them. But most people outgrow that. So way on the other end is narcissistic personality disorder. And once you start getting up into those higher percentages, or higher, I can't think of the word, excuse me, of narcissistic traits, that's when we get into the deadly and dangerous, unfortunately. So diagnosing a narcissist, right? If we're actually talking about narcissistic personality disorder, first of all, it's difficult because there's nothing wrong with a narcissist. They do not see anything wrong with their behavior. They do not feel they've hurt anyone. They feel it's the other person who's got the issue. They can't see it because of that survival mode that they're in. So they're not going to reach out for help. They might reach out for help if a court orders them to it, maybe if there's a custody thing happening with children, or they might reach out if their spouse has said, that's it, I'm done. Then maybe they'll show up for some therapy. They may even try to enter therapy just to prove they're not a narcissist. And with a therapist that isn't used to working with a narcissist or doesn't quite realize the whole manipulation that they can do, they can easily manipulate the therapist again into thinking it's their partner or thinking nothing's wrong with them. They don't have any issues, it's the other person's. So when they do seek therapy, the prognosis is not very good. There have been studies done, and so it's pretty safe to say a narcissist is not going to change. And I know we hold out hope because we love that person. We've seen this other side of them, which unfortunately doesn't really exist. It's a persona that they put on to try to, engage us in the pattern. So we've seen that. We love them. We hope, we wish, but they don't change. In diagnosing a narcissist, I'm taking the criteria from the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual that therapists and psychologists, psychiatrists use to actually diagnose a narcissist or a narcissistic personality disordered person. I'm going to give you a lot more examples in future videos, but I want to just give you these hard facts or these, specific things just as a foundation. So this is what they look for. So the first one, okay, so the criteria is they have to have a pattern of grandiosity, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. So in order to diagnose someone as this, they have to have at least 5 of the following criteria. So the first one is a grandiose sense of self-importance. We see this a lot of times in the classic narcissist. You see someone and they're just radiating it, they're oozing it, that they think they're very important when in fact maybe others around them don't agree. Second one is preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, and ideal love. Ideal love, this is where it gets tricky in the intimate relationships. They may have this idea of what it should be, and there can be a lot of really horrible emotional and mental abuse that can occur when the victim is not meeting those fantasies of what the narcissist feels they need and want to meet their own needs. Their fantasies aren't really always grounded in reality. In fact, they're not ever grounded in reality. So number 3, they believe they're special or unique, and they're only understood by special or high status people or institutions. So if you hear the narcissist saying, you're so much better than other people, and they don't have what we have, and that can be an indication of believing that they're special, because in truth, we're all just here doing the best we can do. And I'm sorry, we're all human and we're all in this together. That's my perspective on it. And so that just creates further division and can be really destructive to a victim of narcissistic abuse. 4, they require excessive admiration. They have a high need for external validation. So that's where you're going to see, like in an intimate relationship, that the partner might be flirting right in front of the victim with people, or they need that. They need that validation from other people that they're handsome and they're beautiful and they exist, They also could be like somebody that is a do-gooder, somebody that's always running around trying to help other people, trying to look really, helpful, and that they get excessive admiration from that. So there's lots of different facets that these can take on, but I'm just touching on these today. Number 5 is a sense of entitlement. They think that they're right, and they think that people should fall in line with where they're at. They expect automatic compliance with what they want and need, and they also expect really good treatment from people. And it may not have been earned. These other people may not know who they are. So number 6, interpersonally exploitive. They take advantage of other people to achieve the ends. Again, their ends are getting their needs met and trying to avoid that pit inside of them that they have shut off. Someone with narcissistic personality disorder has shut off their true self. They are completely shut off from it. If you come further down that spectrum, you might find narcissists that they're still kind of in touch with their heart. They're who they are might really bleed through at points, but they're pretty guarded. So it kind of goes down the spectrum that way. Number 7, lacks empathy, cannot recognize or identify with feelings or needs of others. Number 8, they're envious of others, and they might believe people are envious of them. Now, with a narcissist, you're probably not going to know they're envious of others. Maybe with a classic narcissist who's, really out there, but with other types of narcissists like the covert, you would never know that. You might know if they think others are envious of them, though. That's another way for them to boost that self-esteem. Number 9, shows arrogant, haughty behavior or haughty behavior. Again, that's our classic narcissist, and just behavior that just doesn't fit the situation. Now, in diagnosing, a lot of the victims go to therapy, and they can be misdiagnosed, again, by therapists that aren't familiar with the whole picture of narcissistic abuse. They might be misdiagnosed as anxiety, depression, but as one researcher said, it's like being a tracker, to know that a narcissist has been there. You don't need, if you see bear scat laying around and it's got berries in it, or it's got chunks of fur, or you see a victim slashed to pieces, or maybe on the tree you see the scratchings from a grizzly bear, you know a bear has been there. You don't need to see the bear to know it's been there. So in one of our future talks on here, I'm going to have a list of things that are very consistent that you will see in victims of narcissistic abuse. So it really helps to see the whole picture. And it's my hope that therapists, that victims, and even family members or friends will gain information from this to help people get better, sooner awareness, or as soon as they're ready to leave that relationship, they know what's going on and they have the tools to get out. So, okay, that was a mouthful. And next, other videos, there's going to be a lot more real live examples, things like that. But I just did want to build our foundation by including this information. So next time, what I want to talk to you about are the different types of narcissists. All right, have a good rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.